Hi, it's Natasha.
And Khalil.
And we are the co-hosts of
WokeNFree.
Thank you for tuning in to our 184th episode of WokeNFree. If you've been tuning in every week for WokeNFree Wednesday, you know that WokeNFree is all about being real and honest with each other and you. We talk about everything and anything important to us, you, the world, and nothing is off the table. This week, we are asking the question, what is ASMR? Very, very interesting. But before we dive deep into the subject, couple of questions and points to go over. First, have you downloaded this episode on WokeNFree.com through the Podbean app? If not, please do, because that is the number one way to show support, because that is how you're able to join the conversation. And again, this isn't just a podcast. This is a conversation, which means you have to partake by sharing your thoughts and comments in the comment section. And you can only do that if you've downloaded the app. So please make sure you do that. Now, if you're like, oh, I can't download the app on whatever device you're listening to podcasts on, a little bit of sadness. But what you can do is make sure you're subscribed to the show on whatever platforms you are tuning in. So we have a lot of love on iTunes. We got a lot of love on TuneIn, on Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube. Our YouTube channel is growing. Please continue to be a supporter there. SoundCloud, we have episodes there, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and we're also on Pandora. So if you go to WokeNFree.com, you can see all the different places that we're at. So make sure you support away. And then, of course, you can subscribe to our show via email and encourage your friends and family to do that on WokeNFree.com. So make sure you do that, because that's also just going to be a weekly reminder to you for all the new episodes every single WokeNFree Wednesday. Now, when it comes to social media, feel free to holler at us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. Yes, I said TikTok, and Pinterest at WokeNFree. And then, of course, if you have 90 seconds and we're still living through COVID-19. So you have 19 seconds and you have 90 seconds. And so what you can do with that is go to WokeNFree.com, go to the listen tab, and make sure that you give us a review on all the places you'd like to review the show at, and share, how the show is feeding into you. And so with that, got to turn it over to you, handsome.
Thanks, love.
You're welcome, love.
Before we start the conversation, we like to share a little bit about us. Last time we shared, would you rather find a way or make a way? This week we're asking, do you think muffins are just cakes?
What a very odd question, my love.
Yes, indeed. It's a critical question for some people.
Another pointless point of discussion.
How's that pointless? You know how people argue about, are certain things really just other things? This is one of those type of questions. I don't have those
type of people in my life to have those type of conversations with.
Really? Like, correct. Is the sun just a star? Some people don't think like that.
No. I've definitely seen those conversations and maybe have entertained them in a different part of my past, but not currently. So to answer the question, I would say yes, if the muffin came highly decorated with delicious toppings, but if it's just a plain old muffin without the trimmings, then my answer is no. Itu?
So your answer is
yes, if it comes highly decorated.
That makes them a cake.
Yes, but if it is not highly decorated,
then it's not. It's all
depends on the decorations.
Okay,
yeah.
That's an interesting way to think of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I will just say no, I think muffins aren't cakes because the texture of the top is different. It's more of crust-like, and the cake is usually a little bit smoother, and it's not. So I don't know, the muffin top is
different.
Yeah,
okay.
It's different to me.
That makes sense.
It's not the yeah.
Okay, yeah, I went from a visual perspective.
That's all I think of it as.
The substance perspective. Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm just doing it all based off of looks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not using something like sounds or visual effects that can be used.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of leads us into our next topic, doesn't it?
Which is, what is ASMR? Nice transition.
All right. Yeah, that's a great question to bring up now.
Okay.
I think this is probably what the episode is about, isn't it?
Word.
Okay. It's not about the muffins.
No.
All right. Well, that's an acronym, so let's start with what that acronym means. And it stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. Psychology.com, they describe the ASMR experience as a happily warm and tingling sensation that starts on the scalp and moves down the neck and spine that is experienced by some people, but it's not by everybody. This feeling can be triggered by sounds like brushing hair, tapping fingernails, or whispered affirmations. ASMR became big in 2007 when a woman with the username OK Whatever described her experience of ASMR sensations in an online health discussion forum. So that's where it really popped off, and then now there's tons of videos and communities all centered around this ASMR experience.
Interesting. Okay. And I also found an interesting article on Vox, which similarly describes, the experiences you did. They go on to say also that like many people, or some people rather, say that the feeling is deeply relaxing and it can even cause them to sleep. So it can be, peaceful in nature. And they go on to describe it as saying it sounds very technical, but there's no real good science or research behind this phenomenon. And according to Vox, they've said that the term is believed to have been coined in 2010 by Jennifer Allen, who started a Facebook group dedicated to finding out more about it. And then the term quickly caught on as people finally had a way to reference the pleasurable feeling they had been experiencing. So, point is, I think, and that doesn't necessarily conflict with what you found. It could just be
maybe it wasn't titled.
Yeah,
it may have not titled in 2007.
Yeah, but interesting that it dates back to that time period at least. Interesting.
Yeah, it's not like an older thing. It's not from the 90s or something.
Interesting. Okay.
We gotta explain then, how does ASMR work?
So Vox, again, very thorough article, talks about this experience, or this works in varying ways or greatly between person to person. So for some people, they just don't get it at all. And the science on ASMR is basically non-existent. So from the understanding of it so far, it's really based on anecdotes from around the internet. So whatever people are posting about, which is kind of interesting. They go on to say people will, kind of enjoy role plays in which someone gives close personal attention and whispers, while others like videos that show incredibly mundane tasks as spraying a water bottle or tapping, like you mentioned, stirring a bowl of soup, or crinkling wrapping paper. Others are triggered by more elaborate role plays, which can vary from someone acting like a doctor to getting a haircut, which is really interesting. The feeling they mentioned isn't usually sexual, although some people are triggered by videos that appear sexual. Other people that they've talked to who've experienced ASMR emphasize that the tingles and the feelings of relaxation have nothing to do with sex. But ASMR is a little similar to sexual turn-ons in that some people are very specific in what they like, and many people tend to grow tired of experiencing the same thing over and over again.
It sounds like a fetish to me.
Yes. What did you find?
According to health.com, some research suggests that ASMR may actually overlap with synesthesia. Synesthesia, I think it's said. An unusual condition that involves hearing colors or textures, for example, or seeing or tasting sounds. Which, okay, that's interesting. But don't confuse ASMR with the goosebumps you get when you hear a piece of music that moves you. That's called frisson, a French word for shiver. And if you are completely unreasonably annoyed by these ASMR videos of people tapping, crinkling, or chewing, you might actually have something called misophonia, an extreme reaction to certain sights and sounds, actually the exact opposite of ASMR.
Interesting. I think I have that because I have a horrible reaction to hearing other people chew, as you know. It really blows my mind in a really horrible way.
It really hurts you.
Yeah, I'm completely disgusted with the person. And and to everyone's knowledge, just so you know where I'm coming from, I was raised by my father, who also must share in
Maybe
this,
he just has it. It could be a gene.
Was completely mortified and disgusted with the sound of chewing and eating. He just thought you were just awful. And so unfortunately, because I was raised around that, also when people are like, mwah, 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 I want to die. I can't even handle it. Wow. So chewing gum, eating cereal loudly, those things make me want to throw things at a wall.
So you'd have to be careful of some of these videos because they could deeply annoy you and make you really upset.
I would just be very confused and say, oh, no.
You would stop watching it immediately.
Immediately. This has to stop. I'm not about this life.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not going to listen to this stuff.
But, the whispering thing, I feel like that also might annoy me just because, I listen to such loud music. So generally, as you know, when I listen to things, I feel like I need to listen to things loudly. So I don't think I'd be into someone talking like this is really
But
No.
one thing they didn't really mention it in the articles that I saw is that, so when people do this, they enhance the sound quality to like super sensitive, meaning they might be whispering, but it's a super loud whisper.
Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
You can hear exactly what they're saying, but it still sounds like they're whispering.
That's
it's kind of crazy. You know what else can do that is the Alexa, she can whisper too.
Creepy.
And she whispers she can whisper at whatever volume you put.
Yeah,
so it's kind of funny to hear like a loud whisper.
Yeah, that's
But that's what the ASMR is about. It's about like hearing the sounds, but very high.
Like extreme.
It's at a high volume. So, and all you hear is that sound specifically. It's like, it gets out all the background noise and it just focuses on whatever the sounds are specific to the video.
Interesting. Okay.
Would you ever try ASMR?
Well, as a person who always is pursuing knowledge and wants to grow and evolve as a human being, as a mother, as a wife, as a friend, as a daughter, there's few things in the world that I will say no to. If it's against my moral stance on life, then heck no. But if it's something where it's like, it's an experience, it's not against my moral fibers, then my answer is usually going to be yes, because, you never know if you're going to like something unless you try it, so I would say yes, but if I'm quickly annoyed, I would have to try an alternative version of that video, but I wouldn't automatically be like, ooh, first time I'm annoyed, I'm never doing it again. I would try a different one and move on. But what about
How
you?
long would you try it for? How many videos would you go through?
I don't think I would probably overdo more than 10. I think that
So you try 10 videos.
A sample size that's good enough.
And for how long?
The length of the video. Whatever those videos
So you try one video, if it doesn't annoy you, you'll finish it and keep going on.
But I don't know if I would
10?
if I would need to all do them in one period. I think I would try one. If I enjoyed it, then I maybe try another one, then space them out. I think, there is such a thing as having too much fun all at once.
Okay. If you say so.
Listen, we have to be careful. We can't overindulge.
Yeah,
Except for
true.
when we're talking about WokeNFree. Now that you can listen to as many episodes as you like all at once.
Agreed.
But podcast, that's a different bag of marbles there. But how about you? What's your thought?
You are now listening to WokeNFree.
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 A podcast that keeps it real and honest.
Yes, I would definitely try it. Almost like you. I don't think there's anything to lose by doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first heard about ASMR, I looked at some videos just to see what was going on, but I didn't really try to experience it. I was just seeing what it was about. I think to really do it is I would sit for about an hour. I'd put headphones on and I'd dedicate my time to that.
A whole hour. Wow.
Yeah, definitely.
Minutes,
but unlike you, so in that hour, I would decide if this is for me or not. If it doesn't work out, I'll never look at one ASMR video ever again in my life.
Okay, that's
That'd
a little
be
extreme.
No, but that's how I'm saying I would experience it though. That would let me know. Like if it doesn't work out in that hour,
you're pontificating,
then I would
so
stop.
that's your theory, but you never know what you would actually do unless you.
Well, so if I decided this is the day I'm going to try it, that's what I would do. I would carve out time. I would get the headphones and I would just sit and do it.
Yeah.
And then if I do like it, then I would continue.
Okay.
I would look at more. Like, yeah, if I was like, wow, I have some sort of ASMR experience, I would do more. But
cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's just me.
All right.
Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario? It's scenario time, guys. Scenario number 1. Cameron is an ASMR video artist that creates clinical role-playing videos where she gives pretend gynecological exams while whispering sweet nothings into a highly sensitive microphone. She has thousands of subscribers, but is wondering if she should stop playing doctor on the videos since she is not a real-life doctor. Should she quit doing these role-playing videos or continue since she has so many fans?
What an interesting question. So, the planner and the person of different educational backgrounds and achievements, to me would suggest that if she was concerned about liability issues related to this activity, that she consult with a legal counsel who could maybe provide some kind of context as to what are the liability issues that she's encountering by fraudulently pretending to be in a medical profession, which she is not a part of. And then maybe that they could give her advice on as to kind of how to proceed there. And even if she didn't necessarily get the answer that she wanted, to just be mindful that even though you have a lot of likes for things that you're doing, and I know we're in a culture where it's all about the likes and the follows and the social media fan base, again, you don't want to put yourself in a situation that opens you up to places where you can be sued or even charges can be brought against you for that behavior. So that's where my mind is. What about you?
All right. My mind is she definitely needs to keep doing this because the pros are that these fans, this might be their only form of like stress relief or healing time. So for her to stop these videos and stop their pleasure is that's not going to work.
Regardless of the liabilities she may
So
be
now
encountering.
the way to deal with this is she needs to definitely make it clear in the beginning of her video and in the description that she is not a doctor. This is strictly for entertainment purposes. There's no medical advice being given here.
That there's no other additional language or communication that would be needed from a legal or perspective. Yes.
Yeah, maybe, whatever it is.
Okay.
But as long as she makes it clear, though, that she's not if she tried to pretend like, oh yeah, I really do give exams as well, then I'd say that's a problem. If she just states this is all for fun, then it's okay. Because it's like in movies, they have those actors that are pretending to be certain occupations and none of them are.
Brad Pitt is not a spy.
It's very similar. Yeah, so as long as you just state and let people know this is Fantasyland, then then I'd say it's fine. But I think she has a duty to not quit. If she does, I think that's bad.
It's more
she's harming people.
It's not about, well, you're taking it to extremes right now, but it's not about
really.
She's harming people. I mean, she's the one who created the content.
but it's kind of like if you're a healing source and then you just pull back and you decide I'm not going to heal all these people. Is that how
some people feel about certain porn sites that get pulled down? This was my form of healing.
Dude, that's different. There's no sexual healing from porn. I'll tell you that. That's not sexual healing.
One could argue that at a deep level.
I don't know what the arguments would be. This is
a different episode.
Yeah, I haven't done the research, so I can't say. But for ASMR, there are healing properties to it. It's been shown. I'm
just a little bit more curious to know how much more diving you've done into this.
Not much.
Interesting.
Not much. Okay. Not. It's not to that degree, but it's enough to know that it does. People take this. It's a serious thing. Like it's almost like the people that do the. What is it, like acupuncture and things like that sort of nature. This is a healing activity for people. Or the hot stones on the back.
Correct.
Cupping, stuff like that. So this is very similar to that. That's why, that's why I take it to a high degree that she should continue.
Clearly.
That she should continue at least, because it seems like it's so easy.
Yep.
Scenario number 2. Moshe really enjoys the sounds of fingernails mixed with the loud sound of raindrops hitting windows. Viola told him that is a strange way to spend time, and he should meditate instead to get the same experience. Should Moshe stop listening to his ASMR custom playlist and just meditate instead?
Another really fascinating question. So in life, people will have attitudes and perspectives that are in alignment with you and then also against what you believe. And it's also really interesting that people will come up with ways to tell you how to live your life. And it's, to me, flagrantly, wildly inappropriate because it's not their life. Even unfortunately, even when we are doing things to harm ourselves, it is our own journey, right? I do not advise people to share harmful or painful advice to others. But at the end of the day, we have to be accountable and responsible for our own journey and our own decisions. No one can make you happy other than you. So if Moshe is really enjoying this playlist, this ASMR custom playlist that this person has that he has found, then he should continue to enjoy and to live his best life, because as long as it's not hurting him or it's not hurting other people, I don't understand why Viola has a problem with it. And if Viola doesn't agree with his lifestyle choice of listening to that custom playlist, then she doesn't need to have him in her life, right? Like, we need to let people live. And if we can't do that, then you don't need to have those people in your life.
Even if the person's a coworker that told you that, and you got to see them every day. Yeah,
well, maybe you disengage and you focus on work and you only communicate about work. Why are you talking about ASMR? Right? If she's taking offense to it, then it is what it is. I mean, he's got to do what he's got to do. So
It's just how some people do. People judge others for what they do with their activities.
It's not like he said that he likes
do something else.
Slam his naked body against windows and laugh at the screen or something. It's not something wildly out of control. I mean, he said he likes listening to or dealing with that particular sound, and maybe she doesn't necessarily understand it or even thinks it's weird. Good for her. It's not her eardrums. It's not her playlist. Move on. I think that she, it's enough is enough. Live your life, right? Because what if he discovered that she has a weird habit of going to the bathroom and eating hot popcorn? I mean, some people might be like, that's really wildly disgusting. We all have weird quirks and things that we do. And, we need to give each other grace. We need to just, let people live. Like I said, it's not like he's doing something that's harmful. So what's the problem?
Yeah, what I would want to say is that I think he should tell Viola to actually try out the ASMR.
Oh, God.
You're like, you haven't tried it. Don't knock it till you try it. He could tell her that. And he said, guess what? If you try it, I'll try your meditation stuff and see what happens. But I'm not going to give up mine if you don't even try what I do. So how about that, Viola? That's what he can tell her.
Take
this ASMR and try it out. And then I'll try your meditation stuff that you do.
I mean, and it's not one or the other, right? You can listen to ASMR and you can meditate.
But even trying it, it's kind of like she made it seem like he needs to do it. But he should say, I could still do my own thing.
That's a fair point. When people give you advice, unsolicited advice, which is usually unwelcome.
That's messed up to say.
It usually is. It's unwelcome. Then you can then flip the script on them and be like, what you should try what exactly I'm doing.
Yeah.
And if they have a problem with it, like I said, here's the door. Goodbye. Have a nice day. Have a nice life. Adios.
I mean, the point of contention here is that Viola told him that it was strange what he does.
Yeah. That's rude. It's judgmental.
I think that was the issue here, especially that he wasn't doing anything violent or obscene, so it should be pretty good with people.
See, that's hard. It's hard when you share with people because people will.
Some things are obscene, though.
They will. Well, of course.
Yeah, some things are blatant.
Of course.
And some things are not so much.
He was into, something that was legal, or I like to go home and sniff, cocaine. I mean, then that's a problem, which you definitely should be sharing that information with people.
What if he's into showing braiding his armpit hair in the office, something like that?
I mean, I'm sure that might be some type of employee conduct issue. But,
all right.
It's, we just have to understand the realms that we operate within. And we have to also be mindful of who we share information with. Because, you are being judged left and right. So
you would say if someone asks, what are you listening to? Don't tell them it's ASMR. Just say you're listening to some good stuff that you're listening to.
Just take your headphones out. And, oh, I'm sorry. How are you? And move on.
And then they might ask you, what were you listening to there?
And you can ask them, do you know what ASMR is? And they say no, and then you can say, let me send you a link, and then you'll find out. And then
all right, so you are for at least telling them about it. All right, so
I'm all for sharing information.
Okay, that's good because I was going to say when confronted.
But if at the end of the day, you don't. I'm a victim of an oversharer, so I've learned my lesson in life. And people are like, oh, Tosh, you could have said less, every single time. Yeah.
Scenario 3. Wim, on a whim, scanned through hundreds of ASMR videos. He had no reaction to any of the videos, instead becoming bored trying to get through all the content. Is it reasonable for Wim to not believe ASMR is real since he has not experienced it after hours of trying?
That's interesting. So as discussed earlier in the conversation, it doesn't necessarily work for everyone, and some people kind of will listen to the content and be like, huh? And not really get it. So he may fall within that category of people who are not affected by or not experiencing the sensation that one should be getting from watching one of these videos. But nothing in life is final other than death. So you have to be careful about saying this will never happen or this could not affect me, because you'd be really surprised at how life will surprise you. So I would say maybe the type of ASMR videos he's consuming or that period in his life, he's not susceptible to it, and or he could have a block in his mind. Because again, when you come at things from a very skeptical perspective, sometimes you can be like, I don't see it, because it's like you're choosing not to see something, you're choosing not to experience it. So I would say he might need to step away from this and maybe revisit this a month or 3 months later, and then he might be pleasantly surprised that he actually found a video that he enjoys and is being affected in a positive and a hopefully tantalizing manner, and isn't kind of going through this in a like marathon style of like, I'm gonna watch lots of videos and really like, maybe that's not how you approach it. Maybe we just start with 1 or 2 at a day, and then, or a week, and see how you go. You know, not everything has to be, as someone who will have an obsessive personality, sometimes you can't just like barrel through a bunch of things. Like, you have to kind of space things out. Again, too much of a good thing is a real thing. So I would say don't give up. Take a step back, take a beat and revisit it, and not say that this isn't working for him at this. It's just not working maybe at this time, but not in perpetuity. True. Your thoughts?
My thoughts is it is unreasonable for him to believe that ASMR is fake. Mm-hmm. Because one's ignorance is not proof that something doesn't exist or is not true.
His one perspective.
And a lot of people do that. People, they always try to rely on, it never happened to me, so it's fake.
Can't exist anymore.
Yeah, like I've never seen it in all my years of life. Yeah, because you're everybody on the planet.
Exactly.
Right? That's great. That's really cool for you. Hilarious. I don't know how you're all in one, but
that's really creepy, actually.
Yeah, like that's really cool. You just change bodies whenever you want. Nice.
I mean, you're multi-racial, you're multi-spiritual,
you're feeling it all.
National, you're multi-generational, you're multi-gendered. I mean, you're just living the best dreams. I guess
it's one of the most used arguments of all time.
Of course, if I didn't see it, if I never experienced it, it didn't happen. Try again.
It's great. So it's definitely, this is not the way. I don't think he even did some research. So to me, this is not enough for him to say that it doesn't exist. Yeah, you're jumping hoops with that one. That's too much.
Absolutely. What interesting scenarios. And with that, it looks like we are at that time again. It is coming to the end of our 184th episode of Woke and Free. Thank you guys for tuning into another phenomenal conversation. What did we discuss this week? We asked the question, what is ASMR? Will we leave you hanging for what our next episode will be about? Drum roll, please.
On our next episode, we are asking the question, would you ever have plastic surgery? Make sure you follow us on social media to follow along in the conversation, and make sure you tune in next week for Woke and Free Wednesday to join the conversation at WokeNFree.com.
If you'd like to be a guest on the show, which we definitely have people reaching out to us, make sure you go through the proper channels, which is hitting us up on our Contact Us page at WokeNFree.com, which is WokenFree.com. You will also easily find us on social media if you want to chat on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Yes, I said TikTok, Pinterest, and YouTube at Woke and Free. And then if you're interested in any kind of sponsorships or collaborations, easily connect with us where our Contact Us page at WokenFree.com.
If you didn't already subscribe, please do. Share the episode, and make sure you come back to join the conversation every Wednesday for Woke and Free Wednesdays. Remember, Woke and Free is more than a podcast, it is a way of life. Until next time.
Sweet.